Hey guys, you've seen my thumbnail with my chainsaw chop table, and the main purpose of it is to cut up these offcuts into firewood. You can see I've got a bunch of offcuts here from the sawmill, and every time I get them, I need to chop them up or pass them through my wood chipper. This video is going to be about how I made this chainsaw chop table. Over here I've got some logs. I got a few cedar logs here to use as my post, and if we come over here on this side, the very first step that I had done is I had just put some stakes in the ground to visualize the table itself, kind of where I want it in relationship to the sawmill. So let's get started, guys. So we got about 4 feet going in there right now, so that's more than deep enough. It's just shy of 4 feet. They only need to be about 3 feet deep. I'm gonna put the post in now. And now I'm going to put in some supports to hold it in position, and I'll backfill it after that. So after the hole is dug, put the post in, get it a couple supports, one going each way, and then level it up so that it's plumb, and then just backfill it. And it's going to be the same process I'm not going to bore you with for each hole. So I just want to kind of show you the very second stage is to put the post in. Now some of you guys are going to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not a treated post. And you're absolutely right, it's not a treated post, it's a cedar post. It's in the ground, just natural as it is. Anywhere from, I don't know, if I get 10 years out of it, that's going to be far more than what I want it for. By the time these things rot, I'm going to change the way I do things, so there's no point of spending any extra money to put pressure treat it or taking any extra time out to do any treatment on the post. It's just a waste of time, waste of money. The next thing to do is to remove the cross braces, and I'll be able to use them on the next post rather than having cross braces for every one of them. Saves a lot of time, a lot of work. Okay guys, for the second post, what I did is for my cross braces, I used the first post and I ran a brace straight across. It's not level, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't have to be. What I did is on the back side here is I put a line, and that line indicates how far I want my post to be from one another. In this case it's exactly 60 inches, 5 feet. And then I put a second brace going this way, and that's just to keep it level because I'm going to push the dirt in. I'm going to get support coming from this side here, and I'm going to have support going this way. I don't have to worry about it coming in here. What I'm going to do, and I always do, is a little hand shoveling first to kind of fill up the bottom a little bit, and then I'll use the backhoe. I'm just trying to get enough dirt in there so that nothing will move when I start using the backhoe. That's all. Okay guys, you can see now I got the fourth post in. I'm going to go on this side here and put the fifth, and then I'll do the sixth one there. I only used one brace for this one going across. That's all I needed. Alright guys, I've got all the posts are all in. There's 6 in total. The next thing I did after that was I leveled all the ground the best I could for now. Anyway, so I'm going to have to re-scrape it just a little bit. One thing to note when you're leveling posts, these posts are of different diameter. They are tapered, and also there are knots that kind of like little humps are going on. So when you're leveling, you're not going to get a nice smooth surface to level on. So you have to accommodate for the taper, you have to accommodate for the knots and the difference in the diameter. One other thing that I did is to make sure that my distance between posts and that they're in line is that I used the string. The string helps to keep the posts in a straight line, obviously. I didn't use it for the first 4, but when I put in the last 2, I did that. What I just finished doing is that you can see down here on the ground, I've got the 2 runners. I just cut these runners on the sawmill. All I did is I cut 2 edges on them, the top and the bottom, leaving the rest of it just live edges. And they're going to go up on the top. Here I'm just going to do the cutting of the post, and then I'm going to put these, they're 3 inches thickness, and the distance basically from that post to that post is just roughly over 8 feet long. And as I mentioned, there's just going to be 3 posts. So I'm just going to remove my string here. I just don't want the string to get in the way when I'm cutting. I don't want to get caught up in the chainsaw blade. Now I'm just going to use a little battery operated chainsaw. And what I've done to make things a little bit easier is that I've put this board here as a guide, and I can cut through. So I'm going to start off with the middle one first, because if I start off in the end, this could drop down, or it shouldn't actually, because I have it screwed in here anyways. But I'm going to start off with the middle one. So there we go. Actually, they're not going to fall because they're obviously screwed below. Getting a little tired in the day. A lot of sunlight here today. Hot. So anyways, we got the second one. As I mentioned, this is just a guide to keep me, you know, a nice level surface. It's fairly easy to do. And we're going to get the third one here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you this side what I'm doing here. The next side I'm just going to go off camera and do it. It's going to be exactly the same process. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my runners. Now my runners have been cut longer than I need. I'll trim them down after I put my slats, so you'll see that in the next step. Now with my runners, I'm just going to sit them on top. I didn't notch anything because they're as wide as the post. You can see this one has a little bit of a bow in it, so I'm going to flip it around. And I'm just going to try and center it on the post the best I can. This one here, this board is obviously, it's got a bow going this way. I'm going to pull it. Actually, this has got quite a bit of a bow in it. So what I'm trying to do is I just want to try and center it as much as I can on each post. That's all that really needs to be done, and then I'm going to bolt it down. Again, this is just an offcut table. It doesn't have to be to perfection or anything, but trying to make it as good as you can. Now you're probably wondering why it's this high so far. Well, it's actually going to get a little bit higher, and you're going to see why later. So I'm just going to put in one of these bolts on each post to start. And you can see how much here on this one post here, how much I've got, and that's because that much showing. It's because this thing is really curving. If you go right down at the end and look, hopefully you can see how much that piece of wood bows. And so this post here really is not much good for anything other than something like this. Oop. The bit fell off here. And I'll put a third one here. Now I'm going to put a second bolt in each one, and that's going to be plenty for what this is. I don't even need to put the second one, but I will anyways, just for, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. Anyways, guys, so the next step is I'm going to cut the other side as I mentioned. I'm not going to show you that on camera. And then I'm going to do the slats, and we'll come back to that. Okay, guys, as you've seen on the mill there, what I had done is I milled up, cut up 10 slats, and the same thing as when I did the runners. The slats are cut on two sides only, and they're live edge. So now the slats obviously will be different widths. No big deal. This is just a rough lumber application. That's the beauty of it all. So anyways, guys, we'll move over here now to the runners, and I've got the slats, and you can see here I've got them going a little bit on an angle, so when I come off the mill with my piece of wood, that I can throw it up on the first edge and then throw it on the other edge. I've got, as I mentioned, 10 of them. So I'm going to put them all up, and what I'm doing is I'm alternating the butt end of them. Just that way we'll kind of get a little bit more balance between the distance between the two. If you always use the skinny end on one side, then there will be bigger gaps on one side than the other. So I'm just lining them up quickly. You can see here what I've done is I've gone down and I've made a mark, and I'm just putting them on the edge of the mark. And I'm going to go all the way down and put all 10 on. And as I mentioned, I'm just going to keep alternating them. And this stuff that's overhang, what I'll end up doing is I'll just cut off the overhang later. And again, for screwing these in, I'm just going to use 2 screws per slat. That's plenty. They don't need to be over screwing. They're not going anywhere. I'm going to be throwing stuff on top. That's about it. This is just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. And this is all cedar as well. And the thing is, if these things start to bow or go a little off or whatever, I'll just change it up. I've got thousands of these pieces of cedar, so I'm not too concerned about something going wrong here. A couple of them are pretty twisted. If you look at this one here, you can kind of see the twist in it. But that's the beauty of this, is just a table to put some offcuts on and chop them up. And I also will be able to throw some small firewood logs on here too, and if I want to do the same process, just to cut them into pieces of firewood. So I've got 2 more here to go, which this one's pretty thin, so oh yeah, this way. Oh, I got that one backwards. Okay, so I'm just going to start down in one end here. And I'll just make it somewhat flush here on the angle. And what I'm using for screws, I'm not using any kind of wood screw. I'm using some nice blue screws. I get these really cheap, like the next to nothing, so they got a higher tensile strength, so I'm using these. Yes, they are Tapcons. I normally like to build with, don't like to use screws very much, but for this application I'm going to do it. As I mentioned earlier, is that this is here for now. I don't know how long I plan to use it, but I don't plan to use this for more than, I don't know, 5 years anyways. Things change all the time, so there's no point of overkill with the screws. I don't want to put nails because I'm going to have to take it apart. So anyways, guys, I'm just going to go all the way down on this side, and then I'm going to go all the way down on that side. Okay, guys, one thing I didn't mention is that these are 2.5 inches thick. And as I mentioned, I've got the alternating the butt ends, and I've got the most skinny part sticking out that way, so I have the widest part of the board spanning across. Just get a little bit more thickness going across. So we're going to cut them now. Well guys, we're on to the next section, and that is the mounting of the chainsaw. It's already set to go, so I'm going to show you what I've done here. The very first part of it is the chainsaw stop. So when I throw the slabs up on the top, I'll push the slab and it'll hit against this, and this is the stop. If you come over here on this side, you can see I have a pin here. So this can go anywhere between 5 inches to 20 inches. I put one pin here, and all the way to the back is basically 20 inches, so that'll allow me for different lengths of wood. I've got the pin here at the 16-inch mark. That's basically what I'm going to use 99% of the time anyways. The next thing I want to show you here, this is where the chainsaw will mount to. We'll do that in a second. This piece of wood here, it's mounted. It is a stop for when I'll slide the piece of wood up, and it'll come here. And this stop, basically when you start using the chainsaw, it will pull inward. So I'm going to hold my piece of wood in on here so it doesn't pull it too far this way. The next thing I wanted to show you underneath here, you can see there's a set of stairs. I can climb up. You're probably still wondering why I built this thing so high. We're going to get to that in a minute once we get processing here. So I'm going to show you when I mount the chainsaw. Again, this here is, I just want to show you quickly, this is very easy to move. It's friction fit. So I just move it, just wiggle it back and forth and it will move up. So I'm going to put the chainsaw on here. What I've got here, I've got a wrench that I keep outside now for this. And I just mount the saw. Now the one thing I'm going to upgrade is this piece here, and what I want to do is I want to make this on a track so that I can use a bar, 16, 18, 20 inch, 24 inch bar, whatever I want to use. So I'm going to make this slide. That's going to be the next step. So the chainsaw will actually sit here on top of the runner. So I just put it on there and I slip it over top. There's a hole. You can see here there's a hole. Whoops. I just mount it like that. It's a carriage bolt that I'm using. I'll put a washer, flat washer, then a lock washer, and then I'm going to tighten up with the nut. So then I just have to twirl it up a little bit. Okay, so that's going to be like that, and when I'm going to cut, I just have to come up here and I'm just going to lift and I'm going to cut. So we're going to find out here before we start cutting why it's built so high. But I have to load some material up here first. Alright guys, we're just about to test this out. One other thing I want to show you, I've got a little tool here so that when my pieces are way, say if this piece is way over here, I just can pull it closer in like that, hang it back up. Now you notice I've got slots instead of a big long board going across. That allows me to grab the board in between, not trying to pull it up or get my fingers underneath. Is much easier. So let's start up the saw and get this going. Now you see why I built it so high. The trailer fits underneath, the pieces just drop inside. Oh guys, what do you think about that? So once it gets a little bit more full, all I'll do is come down here. I could have it attached to the ATV, but I can just come down here, pull my trailer forward, go back and cut some more. So anyways guys, this is working out really well. Now I can just take my load. I don't have to pick it up off the ground anymore. After it's been cut, I can just take it directly to the wood pile, stack it in there, and that's done. So anyways guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Gel and Outdoors.